Hey guys, it's me. Welcome to the channel. We have the full crew today. Me
I'm
and
back,
Jay
baby.
and Nathan. Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hello.
Oh man, back in action, refreshed and revitalized, ready to rock and roll. We got a hell of a stream lined up for today, or I guess it's a recording, not a stream, but we will figure out the streaming aspect at some point and be going live here. Get some audience input, some audience interaction going here. But for now, still recording. But yeah, got a great little session, some awesome stories. We got an M&A opportunity lined up. I think we'll probably talk a little bit about some potential secondaries action that we've got available right now. The overall markets might not be hot, but M&A, OTC, and secondaries are still red hot. We've got a lot of deals on that side. But I guess before we get into that, what's going on with the markets? Everybody's scared. I come back from a little vacation. Everybody's calling bear market and crying about a little dip here. What's going on, Andrew? What happened while I was gone? What'd you guys let the markets do?
Well, the big thing you missed was last week we had the PPI numbers come out, and it came out extremely hot, like 4x the expectation. So that caused a bit of a panic in the market, just because it just shows that the economy is not doing so well, maybe potentially. So the likelihood of rate cuts for September is definitely pretty much gone. I don't think they're going to cut rates, and so that is causing a bit of a panic because everybody was expecting rate cuts September, but now the chances of that is very unlikely.
Bro, there's a couple dudes on Polygon right now about to make big money. I mean, 2 weeks ago it was like 98% chance of rate cuts. Whoever was bidding that 2% is about to get rich, son.
That's me, bro. That was actually me. So yeah, unfortunately, like the market's kind of getting wrecked a little bit, but it's like you said, this is like a little correction. The market's just been straight up for fucking months. And if you look at like equity stuff, right? Like yes, we got double tops coming in. Double tops not really what you want to see, but we do have a lot of these moving averages just below us. So those are going to be key supports. So watching how the market resolves and holds these moving averages will pretty much tell you whether the uptrend is still up or if we really do need to start heading back towards these lower levels. But for now, I think it's just a healthy pullback. Watch these moving averages for support, and then hopefully we start printing some W's again, right? Like anytime we get these double bottoms, it's usually generally a good sign. But then the minute you start getting some M's, not super hot. So that's equities for you. If we go over to crypto, not that one. Sorry, I have too many tabs open here. Okay, so now we got crypto. Maybe we'll start on Bitcoin. So pretty ugly. So, we have that PPI print, nasty, market sold off. Didn't quite fully recover, unfortunately. Like equities actually did recover the next day, but crypto didn't really get that kind of pullback or reversal. So now we got some double tops technically working here, right? We got these nasty looking M's here, and we are at some critical support level now, right at these 38.2s. So really watching the lower time frame kind of to see if we can start consolidating, and then maybe we get some W's there within the 1 hour charts or something like that. But right now, not looking so good. So essentially, looks like this 4.669 level is pretty strong in terms of resistance. We came down and we came and smacked it here, and then we came down and smacked it here again. So it's looking like it's having some issues trying to break through that level, that 122-ish area. So now we have to wait for a new W. So kind of like how we got this little W structure, we have to wait till something like that forms. And ideally, it would form around here, this 38.2. But if that's not the case, then we might have to come against these candle body lows, which are generally kind of nice entries if the trend is to hold. Or maybe we have to actually come back down into these reload zones. Reload zones are typically where I like to hunt. I find that those are kind of the most optimal area and location. You get in nice and cheap as long as this trend holds up. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. I mean, like, there's no bearish divs on the MACD quite yet. We were pretty overbought way back here, but over here we didn't quite hit that. So momentum wise, I think we're still like slightly okay. I think it's mostly just like the structure right now, location. So now we just have to wait for some consolidation. So watching the lower time frame charts to see if we can kind of rebase, see if we can kind of hold this area. Maybe we can start forming some structure, and then we can kind of bounce back. But until then, it's definitely looking a little bearish. I definitely wouldn't want to be trying to chase any longs here. So I'm just waiting at this point. If we go to ETH is looking pretty ugly too. ETH has more of a defined kind of M top here if you look. So double tops usually means we got to break down lower. We are starting to lose that 13 EMA. So losing that support isn't really that good. We do have the 30 SMA still just below. But then if we lose both of those, you can see where the 200 SMA is, and that's pretty far down. And so if we look down here, 38.2s is way down by 3,200, pretty far. So like more so realistically, like 4K at the moment is kind of what I'm looking at, just because big fat round number. It's kind of right where that previous big consolidation was right here, that breakout level. So I think what we're going to see is, this thing fall down a bit more. Maybe we have to kind of come into that 4,000 level, and then hopefully we can kind of start putting in some kind of W's. Ethereum was pretty overbought as well. So, again, like anytime we get that overbought signal, it's probably best to kind of cool your jets, right? And so if you were trying to chase that while you're in that overbought zone, you're kind of asking to get beat up. So for us, we are going to wait till we get some kind of structure, kind of like how we did back here, waiting for those W's. Right now, we got some M's, so we just have to wait. Not what everybody wants to hear, but that's kind of what we're seeing. Maybe this is a healthy correction. Like I said, the market's ran up quite a bit in the past month. I was hoping that we would still get a bit of another leg going into at least like the end of August and into September, because I do expect September to be a bit of a red month, and same with October. But maybe sometimes they front run the market a bit. So definitely have to watch and see how these levels kind of consolidate, because ideally we don't really want to lose that low there on Bitcoin. Ideally, we don't want to lose these lows on ETH. So that way this uptrend can stay intact. Yeah. So that's unfortunate thing of crypto right now. If we look at alt indexes, we are starting to put in double tops. Clearly, we got V bottom kind of blasting off on the stablecoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance perking a little bit up as well. So I do think alts are also going to be in quite a bit of trouble here as Bitcoin and ETH kind of break down. A lot of capital will probably flow out and go right back into stables, as you can see, through these indexes. And so even on total crypto market cap, double tops are coming in. And
I think this is a healthy correction, to be honest. September, usually when token 2049 is, which is in Singapore, it's always a red month.
Curse
And
week.
then yeah. It's like
yeah.
You have first Korea and then token, and those are always red days.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're going to be out at either of those conferences, hit us up. We'd love to get a face-to-face if you want to chat OTC, M&A, kind of overall state of the market. Myself and Andrew will be in Korea, and then we'll have the whole squad here out at Token.
It will be cool.
Yes, sir. If we look on the CME charts, we got gaps all the way down to like 91K here. Gaps love to be filled. They generally don't get left open. So they eventually do get filled. So, if things do start getting pretty sour here, these gap fills could be potential targets for some kind of swing trade as it comes in. I'm not really too much of like a knife catcher. I just like to wait for structure and stuff. But, these are kind of key levels to probably keep your eyes on. these gaps are pretty important. So do be aware. I do like that 91K one though, because that's within the reload zone. But yeah, obviously, if you look at, yeah, sorry.
That's a long way down.
Yeah, it's a healthy correction.
It's only what, like 30% off the high.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
We've seen 30% corrections in every single bull cycle so far.
Normally it's about 80 to 90%.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, as you can see, a lot of double tops, a lot of breakdowns, and all across the alts. So don't feel discouraged. I mean, if you bought and chased these top levels, then you deserve it. Like, you should learn better. But if you're buying it from the bottoms, then like you're still technically in profits. You can move your stops to scratch. You can start taking partial profits, perhaps trail your stops. Number of things. And then if you missed everything, well, then now you should be getting excited because things are going to be back on sale. So it's a matter of time. You just got to wait, let things come back into levels. Like I just hopped off my pump trade today. I had to hop off a scratch here as we lost these lows. And that's unfortunate. But at the same time, we don't lose anything. We got to see the trade kind of play out for a bit and then, walk away scratch free. Better to make sure you don't turn a winning trade into a losing trade. And so that's why we have these kind of rules. Didn't quite hit 50%, but it was close enough for me. And I figured with the rest of the market looking pretty shit right now, probably best to start kind of protecting your capital here. But, there's a lot of random shit that still looks okay. Like, I don't know why UMA looks kind of decent here. I probably wouldn't be wanting to bet it too hard. Maybe there's a central exchange listing coming up or something. But generally this is kind of what you want to look for. You want to look for these reload zones. You want to look for some W structures, oversold conditions, potential bull divs. But I personally am not touching this. I'm also not really buying anything right now until Bitcoin ETH looks a lot better. I can't imagine these markets doing too well without Bitcoin ETH looking much better. But there are still some names on the board here that are kind of holding up surprisingly. So
Link has been a beast in the last 2 weeks. Link is looking compared to the market.
Yeah, Link I did pretty well in the cycle. I've established 3 free positions. So on this one, I've hit 3x on the very first position. So when you come in, you want to buy in at these bottoms, right? So same thing. You watch these massive blowouts. You do your retracements. 88.6 is a pretty good level. That's kind of the sniper fib level, the final, stand into the sand there. I was able to come in here, pretty much buy that double bottom there. I was able to get a nice big win out of that. So I was able to hit a double, and then I was able to hit a 3x, and then so now I'm waiting to hit my 6x there for another double there. Then I bought again here on this retracement as we came back down, came back into that reload zone. We got these double bottoms, you got bullish divs, yada yada. And then this one actually hit a double as well. So this one's waiting for a 3x, which is right at that 6x mark on the first trade. And then I just hit my double yesterday, just before this massive sell-off. Pretty much my sell order was the top, and now I'm waiting to hit another 3x. So I have 3 accumulated positions now that are all free, and now this position starts compounding, and that's how you make a lot of money. You're not trying to just get one trade. You want to try to get as many as possible. And so now what I'm going to do is do the exact same shit. I'm going to wait till this market corrects. I'm going to wait till it comes all the way back down into that reload zone, wait for that W, and then hunt again. So this is the part that's like the hardest for most people. It's like just waiting for this to clean itself and come back into this zone, and then paying attention and acting when you see the setup come in. Because most people are just, I don't know, they don't understand the concept of buy low, sell high, right? Like that should be ingrained in all of our brains. But for some reason, we love buying tops. We love buying when things are mooning. It should be the opposite. It should be buying things when things are on their ground and, starting to consolidate. So look for stuff like that. Look for these double bottoms, right? Especially once you're in these reload zones. So that's pretty much how I'm going forward with all these new trades or whatever I do. Looking for the names that consolidate. Potentially, I might look around this 38.2 area if we can just kind of tag it, and then maybe we start forming some structure, because then that will actually lead into a trend continuation type setup. If we do start forming a base there and Bitcoin ETH starts recovering. But until then, I just like every time I bought Link, it was like, you come down into the reload zone, come down into the reload zone, come down into the reload zone. So, people that want to buy Link, do not chase it here. It's kind of like suicide to be trying to buy up here. I would way rather wait till at least the 38.2 tag, see how the market consolidates there. But ultimately, the reload zone is going to be where your best bet is going to be. So, yeah, that's like how you want to do with everything. Like all your alts, even Bitcoin, ETH, like look for the levels, look for the structure, look for the momentum, and then you have your setup. Yeah.
Beauty. Well, overall, I think, I don't know. There's a few people out there that are ready for the bear market to start. I think we got a lot more room to run in this bull market. And something that we've been saying since we started doing this is that the longer it, the less, parabolic Bitcoin goes in this run, the more times we kind of take these, couple weeks or months to go sideways and correct, the longer this bull run is going to go and the higher overall it will go. So, I look at this again as another opportunity. It's going to consolidate here. Could be, like you said, I agree. Probably September, October could be boring for the next 2 months here. But boring is good. Boring means that we've got, a longer potential bull cycle here, that we've got, and a higher potential high. So I'm all looking at this as an opportunity, a gift to be able to get some more dry powder and buy some more bags.
Hell yeah. Just be patient. Like let things come to your levels, and
patience is the hard part.
Yeah.
Everybody gets excited. We get a month or so of run up, and everybody's like, "Yeah, making all this money," and then no, we got to be patient again. It's boring.
And then you lose track, and then you lose focus, and that's like where people miss a lot of the opportunities. It's like things get boring for a while, and then they just stop watching or caring, and then that's like the moment you got to be like the most focused sometimes. So,
and then they start trading with leverage when they shouldn't be, because they're like, market's boring, but if I use a little leverage,
that always ends well.
Usually it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome, man. Anything else on the markets we want to cover?
If there's any names you guys want me to chart, I can take a look. Otherwise, like
what's Super looking like?
Super? Okay, we can look at Super. Let's see, Super USDT. It's on Binance. It's looking pretty wrecked. Pretty much top came in back here. You got your double top there, and it's just been kind of straight down. You're at a 200 SMA support there, but I don't know. I don't really feel too confident there. Again, you're probably better off buying in these reload zone. And you can already see, like, there's already a bottom level just, like, right there against that candle body, right at that 78.6 level. Ideally, that's kind of where you want to hit, right? Like, candle body lows, 78.6, kind of where that initial breakout was. There are potential divs kind of forming here, but you're going to wait to at least see the break line of that neck right there. And then as like we get this sell off, we're probably going to slowly get into that oversold condition. And then hopefully we get a nice little W. But until then, it's mostly just hands off, really, in my opinion. So we just got to wait. And then, So I wanted to show actually on Bitcoin and ETH, right? So like we are in a reload zone right now in this like smaller range. And as you can see, we're trying to consolidate, right? We are potentially putting in some W's here. There could be a trade here coming up. If I look on ETH's already got its W confirmed. I did try to play this one. I did get stopped out. This could be another attempt here right now, but decent area in terms of location, right against an 88.6. So I do see on the lower time frame already that they are trying to put in some kind of structure and stuff like that, but the thing about lower time frame charts, it's like it moves very fast and changes quite frequently. So I don't really have a full setup here just yet for myself, but I do like how things are slowly trying to consolidate. So if we can get more W's, like nice wide W's like that, then that would be kind of promising. But until then, just kind of watching the charts here. So we'll see how the US opens up later.
Right on. All right. Well, overall, sit on your hands. Wait, unless you're a pro trader. The rest of us, wait, look for some good buys. Get ready for the next leg up. Right on. Well, before we get into some news, definitely wanted to take a look here, highlight some of the M&A and secondary opportunities that are going on in the markets right now. First thing I wanted to cover here today is we've got a launch pad. In fact, we got multiple launch pads. This one in particular, we wanted to highlight top 5 fastest growing launch pad. This is less than a year old, already over $1 million in revenue. I think something around the lines of around 800,000 users on the platform. So great opportunity for anybody that's looking to acquire new revenue streams, anybody that's looking to acquire new user bases. And in particular, I think this is a great opportunity for any sort of DeFi platforms that are looking for vertical expansions or crypto VCs, a lot of syndicate VCs out there. A great example of how a syndicate VC or even an infrastructure and tech provider in the space can pair with a launchpad and see huge growth on both sides of their business. Decubate is kind of the poster child for this model. They cornered the market in the bear market, offering smart contract services, building things like vesting and staking platforms. They also had their own syndicate VC, and then they brought in a launch pad, and all three of those feed very well together. The syndicate, the VC money usually comes in the earliest, and every project that's going to launch pretty much is going to guaranteed need staking and some sort of vesting contract. There's your second line of business that ties in there. And then they opened up their launch pad, which is for at TGE. Every project's going to need that as well. They can pair all of those services together. And all three revenue streams, all three user bases, all three business models all benefit from each other. So if you guys are out there and you're running any sort of infrastructure tech play, it could be auditors, could be smart contract builders, vesting solutions out there, this might be a great option for you to look at to add a new revenue stream, bring new users on board, and kind of add a very holistic turnkey operation for yourself. Same thing for if you're a VC syndicate or a DAO syndicate. Doing early stage funding out there. This is another tool in your repertoire to attract bigger projects, get bigger allocations in. If you have these additional add-on services that you can provide, I came from a background doing early stage VC and advisory. One of the things that projects appreciate the most is when they can have one provider that provides multiple solutions. There's so much that goes on for founders when they're trying to launch a project. And a lot of these guys are first-time founders. They haven't done this before. So when they can get, high-quality services in one spot where they cover, multiple aspects, the launch, early-stage fundraising, tech services, et cetera, bundled together, they really appreciate that. And most of the time, they're going to, book all those services with the same provider. Like I said, study the Decubate model. They absolutely crushed it throughout the last, bear market into this cycle, doing that exact model, offering early-stage investments, tech services, and the launchpad there. So great opportunity out there for projects who are looking to scale new revenue and users, especially if it complements your existing services. We've got these guys also just repriced. Their asking price is only $2 million right now. So just a 2x multiple on their revenue. First question that most of the potential buyers come in, if they're doing so well, if they're doing so hot. And again, this revenue is less than, I think it's only 9 months in. They've got the $1 million in revenue there. Why are they selling? Well, the founder, he's one of the prodigies, absolutely out there crushing. He's got multiple exits under his belt already. And he has another Web3 project that is growing even faster than this that needs his full attention. So he's not able to continue to run this and is looking for somebody to come in and continue to grow the brand. This brand also comes with some top centralized exchange listings, including Bybit as well there. So a lot of opportunities, whether you're looking at token merger, growing your revenue streams, growing your user base. this is a really hot opportunity that we've got available right now, and again, price to move. So if you're interested in finding out about this, any of the other launch pads, or any of the other M&A opportunities that we have, or if you're looking to get acquired yourself, reach out to any of us on Telegram. You can find us on our X page as well. You can leave a comment on YouTube. Our website has got forms you can fill out to get in contact with us for buyers or sellers. Make it as easy as possible for you to get a hold of us here. And our goal is to make the process, whether buying or selling, as friction-free as possible. So yeah, great opportunity here on the M&A side of things. I don't know if Andrew or Jan, if you had anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, from my side, it's good also for the accelerators. I think accelerators have actually taken the role more than VCs at this run, especially like now when the funding is not there. I think accelerators are the ones that are actually doing all the fundraising nowadays. People that don't know what an accelerator is someone that comes in at seed or pre-seed stage and basically helps out with both marketing, development, and with all the connections. But I think this would be a very good fit for any accelerator out there. But yeah, as Nathan said, the founder is a well-known entrepreneur in this space, has done a lot of exits, and now is building something else. So yeah, feel free to message Nathan or me or Andrew about this opportunity.
Awesome. Diving right into a story, and this actually ties into some secondaries stuff that we've got going on here. Recently, it's an old story, but recently, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission coming out saying that liquid staking activities are no longer considered securities. Jesse Powell, one of the founders of Kraken, famously sued a few years ago for $30 million because of offering securities and posting, "Can I get a $30 million refund?" Unfortunately, as we all know, that's not how the SEC works. They are more or less the mafia. They're not necessarily concerned about being right. They're more concerned about strong arming people into getting their money. So I thought that was a hilarious post and ties well into some of the secondary stuff. Kraken had a very the Circle IPO was extremely successful. Kraken is the one that everybody is eyeing now. If you're looking to get your hands on some of that, again, hit us up. We're happy. I believe we do have some available at the moment. If you're looking to get in on some secondaries action with Kraken there.
Correct. It's been very hot. Kraken is also doing the Series C at the moment. Their valuation is between $15 to $14 billion. We have some available opportunities under that price, so feel free to DM.
Yeah, and those typically go pretty quick. So that's not, if you are interested in that, something I would not hesitate on. That is one of the hotter aspects right now. Kind of sticking with the IPO trend. We've seen how popular the Circle IPO was. Am I frozen?
No, you're good.
We're back. All right.
Circle.
There's a lot of talk of IPOs being the next big trend hype that everybody's getting on. We mentioned Kraken. I think BitGo announced recently. Gemini was another one that's been announced. And now making it official. CNBC even announced live on TV today, Bitcoin exchange Gemini files to go public on the NASDAQ. So this IPO trend for Web3 companies is not going to be slowing down anytime soon. I think it is going to continue to be one of the major areas for top funds, VCs, et cetera, to be allocating funds to. So unfortunately for some of the other aspects, some of the other projects out there trying to raise funds to launch or whatever that may be, it is a buyer's market right now. They are picking and choosing. That flows into the OTC side of things as well. We're seeing a lot of new OTC offerings getting better and better as the market gets more competitive. So they're having to compete with not only other OTC offerings, but this really hot trend of these IPO people getting secondaries options for these projects that are going to be IPOing. So overall market's stalling out a little bit, cooling off a bit, but secondaries, OTC, and M&A are still red hot right now.
Yeah, just on Gemini, I looked at their balance sheet and overall numbers. It doesn't look great. They've been doing actually quite bad numbers for the last 4 years. I think they're doing $100 million in losses each year.
What the?
Which is kind of crazy. But I understand, if you want to scale really fast, you need money. That's just the fact.
Yeah.
It
So
took
this whole
what
like listing scheme is
Uber.
just raised.
Yeah, but it took Uber 20 years to get profitable. So
Oh my god.
not
Terrible.
blaming anyone, but anyway,
Coinbase,
compared to other exchanges, so
yeah, Coinbase kind of had a similar setup. I remember when they first did their IPO, they just absolutely tanked, and now it's blown up since then. It took them a few years to get some traction, but they come around. Might see the same kind of thing happen with Gemini, but yeah, definitely a continuation of the trend there. Rolling into some, getting back kind of the overall market talk here. Michael Saylor, always, represented on CT well, but really causing a lot of arguments and FUD, giving mixed signals, tweeting out volatility is a gift to the faithful just a few days ago. More than one person has pointed out he did this a few months back, and that precipitated a 30% drop. Now, obviously, he's not out there the one that's causing the drop, but it's caused a lot of speculation. Are we about to see it? It's not too often you see someone tweet out the exact same tweet, and now we're starting to see a dip again here. So got a lot of people spooked, kind of doing the what does he know that we don't know kind of thing there. That was back on the he posted this, when was it? On the 14th. Yeah, on the 14th. But then giving mixed signals on the 17th, saying insufficient orange, saying that he's looking to buy more Bitcoin. So is he on one hand, is he trying to manipulate the markets, push the price down so he can buy more? Who knows? But been a top story here all over CT. People speculating we're about to see a massive dip on Bitcoin here. And then again, getting a mixed signal 3 days later from him. So I don't know. What have you guys seen these different posts, different stories, people speculating what's going on here? What's your take on that?
I mean, Trump's kid fucking came out yesterday or day before saying you should buy. And every time he says to buy, the market tends to sell. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think Saylor also gave a new speech the other day, and he was warning about the companies that, hey, he need to reorganize a little bit his stocks and so forth, that they're not going to be selling stocks for BTC. So I'm very curious what will happen. But obviously there is a lot of speculation that we have too much leverage on the system. Like it's just the fact at this point everyone there's so many digital asset treasury companies that are launching or doing. This is not so sustainable for sure. Obviously, when the big flush happen, it will happen, and it will be very red days.
It will be glorious.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good buying opportunities. Like the fact is still that there's only going to be 21 million BTC, and 2028 is going to be the next halving. So 2 years from 2026, it's going to be interesting.
You gotta get your ducks in a row. You got some time to prepare. Like if you miss this cycle, it's not a big deal. Just like come back in the next one.
I think people, some of these digital asset treasury companies are starting to chase a little bit here, but I think there's kind of two scenarios that we see playing out here. Maybe obviously more than two, but these are the two I kind of see. One, some of these guys are still chasing, hoping to get in here. They think the cycle is going to extend longer, and they're waiting for the U.S. government to come out and start buying Bitcoin. If the U.S. government starts coming out and buying Bitcoin, all of these guys are going to be in the black. They're all going to be laughing. So I think there's a bit of speculation happening with that, where they're saying, yeah, we might get a dip here. Yeah, we might be, Bitcoin's run up quite a bit. But as soon as Uncle Sam pulls that trigger, the race is on, right? Every single company in the world is going to be buying. Every nation state's going to be buying. All the sovereign wealth funds are going to be buying. And people that are getting in around, 100, 110, 120K are going to be laughing all the way to the bank. The other scenario I see happening is we do get that sort of collapse, and maybe the U.S. government is waiting for that pullback to start buying at lower prices. But at that point, how much of the economy, how many companies have put in how many billions of dollars? What's that market cap of these digital asset treasuries, and what overall impact will that have on the economy? Does it trigger a too big to fail scenario where the U.S. government, along with other governments around the world, step in with some sort of relief package? We've seen it time and time again happen in the U.S. It's happened with the airlines. It's happened with the banks. It's It's happened with the housing industry. It's happened with the auto industry. And when you look at what numbers, the market cap of those businesses or what their kind of overall yearly turnover is, it's not that much higher than what some of these digital asset treasury, kind of the total market cap of these digital asset treasuries are getting to. So if this trend continues, if we continue to see tens of billions of dollars pouring into these digital asset treasuries, both in Bitcoin and Ethereum, if we were to start seeing a collapse that would, decimate these companies, ruin the overall economy, in not only the US, but around the world, do we now get a scenario where the government steps in and Bitcoin is now too big to fail kind of a thing? I could definitely see that type of scenario on the table. What kind of world does that create as we come out of that? I don't necessarily know what that looks like, because typically in these type of scenarios, when they come in and they back up the airlines, when they come in and they back up the banks and the housing industry and the auto industry, those bailouts come with strings. And the whole concept of Bitcoin is money free of those strings, right? So it's going to set up some very interesting potential scenarios in the future here.
Yeah, I think also like good to remember at the moment, like if you look at the SP 500, there's basically only 4 or 5 stocks that are leading the way. It's Apple, Meta, Nvidia, and then maybe Palantir is
Mag
also there
7s.
now. Yeah, but like
Magnificent.
everything else is pretty much dead. And what's happening with these digital asset treasury companies or digital asset companies is that they're basically dead companies doing this. They don't have any revenue anymore, and raising for them money to owning digital assets is the only way going forward. Like it's pretty much dead otherwise. So I do agree. There's going to be a big flush, but what's going to happen when the flush happens? That's the big question. But obviously, my take is fiat, as we know it, it's getting much, much more expensive everywhere. You can see it. And the only hedge is either with gold, Bitcoin, or with Ethereum. So
yeah, absolutely. I think what a lot of these companies are saying is, we continue to see more and more buyers. Rumble saying it's integrating the Bitcoin Lightning Network for tips. Dutch publicly trading company planning to buy 1% of the entire Bitcoin supply, 210,000 Bitcoin, massive. So there's still a lot of buyers coming in here, which, again, encourages other people to get in there and buy. As you mentioned, a lot of these companies, like GameStop, for example, are essentially dead companies. They got nothing to lose, right? If they go bankrupt, they're already on their way there anyways. They might as well throw the Hail Mary. So setting up some very dangerous situations down the road. But again, at the same time, we see more and more companies coming in here. Countries, nation states, Brazil holding its first Bitcoin strategic reserve hearing. I think everybody on this call is still bullish on Bitcoin. We got different ideas of how high Bitcoin's going to go yet, but I certainly don't think we're topped out at 125. So a lot of companies probably still feeling the same way. Some kind of interesting hopium, I guess, we can look at for these DTAs or DATs, digital asset treasuries. Currently, only 75% of fund managers have exposure to, 75% of fund managers have zero exposure to Bitcoin currently. A little perspective there, 41% have zero exposure to gold. So a lot of room. Now, I don't know if this is probably talking about individual funds, not their overall capitalization, because we do have the biggest funds in the world, your BlackRocks, Fidelities, et cetera, that are already in there. So, but I'm sure if we looked at what percentage of money, it's even lower than that. So there's still plenty of money out there that can flow into these. We can look at the market cap of the stock market, market cap of gold, and look at the market cap of Bitcoin. That tells the story there. So does it happen this cycle or next cycle? I think is still the big question. But long-term perspective for us retail buyers, for us little guys out there, if you're not a trader, if you're not sure which way the market's going to go, up, down, or sideways, if you're scared of the volatility, if you're okay with DCA and hodling and forgetting about stuff, that's the way to go. Great post by Fred Krueger, famous Bitcoin maxi here. House is not going to 10x in the next decade. Gold's not going to 10x. S&P 500 is not going to 10x. Bonds portfolios certainly are not going to 10x in the next decade. The only candidates are Bitcoin and some carefully selected pre-IPO startups. I think that's kind of, at the end of the day, that's the story that is to be told. If you're not comfortable trying to time the bottom of the markets, DCA and hodl, you can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to say also, like people who miss this cycle, I think people can still do DeFi. Like you can actually get pretty good returns on your stables that is over 10% pretty safely. And I think that will beat the inflation. So if you have money and you don't want to risk it all, or you want to be very cautious, you can still make a lot of money with just DeFi. Doing compounding with 10% interest, that's very good.
Yeah, I mean, even 8% would be fine. You know,
Yeah,
very low.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, where else can you take 8 to 10% is kind of the gold standard with stocks, and that's on, you know, risk on assets, not on dollars, right? Nowhere are you going to get 10% on dollars outside of DeFi.
Yeah.
Pretty massive. Great story to remind us here. Not your keys, not your crypto, people. Google Android latest update automatically deletes crypto wallets.
Oh,
Users to lose billions of dollars if they hadn't backed up their wallet. Guys, I know it's getting easier with some of these apps to just, you know, scan your thumbprint and you don't have to remember a seed phrase or a code, but you absolutely have to remember if it's still a DeFi wallet, there is no getting it back. If you don't have your seed phrases, this kind of stuff can happen. Google will fuck you over. They don't care about you, right? You can't even get help for your email unless you're a paid user for Gmail, right? You think they care if they screw up an update and you lose all your crypto? You're SOL, right? Not your keys, not your crypto. Great lesson. Sad lesson that a lot of people had to learn it the hard way. It sounds like billions of dollars lost here potentially.
What the hell? That's crazy. Billions of dollars. That's insane.
Yeah, not your keys, not your crypto, guys. Great reminder. Always practice safe crypto.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Find a system, write your codes down somewhere. But don't let hacks and stuff like this ruin your potential for your bags. Moving on to a little Ethereum news, kind of Vitalik going on the Bankless podcast talking about what is coming up in the next decade for Ethereum. Ethereum, obviously, very contentious platform. There's been a lot of back and forth. Vitalik kind of stepping back in the last year or so here, letting the Ethereum Foundation bring some new people in to help be the face and kind of run the Ethereum Foundation, and for a good reason. Vitalik's, to say he's on the spectrum is an understatement. And he's had a few antics in the last few years that have really lost a lot of people confidence in Ethereum outside of its actual performance. But he's getting back on here, getting back out in the media a little bit, and talking about the future. You know, he definitely still has a major part running the show behind the scenes. But mentioning ZK snarking everything, privacy by default, ultralight nodes, self-custody, and finance happens on Ethereum by default. I think we're all all in the same agreement here, saying as stable coins continue to be a massive trend, bringing literally trillions and trillions of dollars into crypto. I think Ethereum is the best bet for the biggest winner there. That all of that transaction volume is going to have to go somewhere. Ethereum's still the front runner for that. So definitely do see big stuff in the future for Ethereum. Definitely bullish long-term on Ethereum, although it has been an absolute laggard this cycle. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on Vitalik or overall on Ethereum. They've been dumping on Tom Lee recently, but outside of that, that's nothing new.
I think that it's great that they're taking initiative now. They fixed their leadership team. I've been talking about this before. Another thing, Ethereum is battle tested. Go to Solana, it's been stopped at least 2 or 3 times. Doesn't work. Any other layer 1 that is out there is the same problem. Like Ethereum has not stopped like doing any blocks ever. Like that's the thing. And if you pitch this to TradFi, safety is the number 1, and second 100%. Of all is that the lifetime cycle. Like it's kind of the perfect way of pitching this to the TradFi people. But I do think like risk reward with Ethereum is much larger than with BTC at this point. Obviously, a stack BTC. Not saying that you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good to have both, like Bitcoin and ETH. But yeah.
In the short term, however, we're seeing record high leverage short positions on ETH. Kind of echoing what what you were saying earlier, Andrew. Yeah, I think we're in for a little some rough times here. Although whenever we see this kind of stuff, usually going to be some market manipulation. Those shorts like to get liquidated, shorts or longs. Anytime we get over leveraged in the market, there's going to be some people coming in trying to mess with that, take advantage of it.
Remember, this is Ether.Fi. This is like Athena. This is liquid funds doing cash and carry trades. They're basically doing the perp trades, buying spot and shorting on exchanges, which means that these short numbers, why they're so big, is because there's so much liquidity, there's so much cash and carry trades that they're just piling up.
Well, and we're seeing some of the why right now. 910,000 ETH, 3.9 billion worth stuck in Ethereum's execute. That's people unstaking, wanting to sell, wanting to do something other than staking with that ETH right now. I'd imagine that has a lot to do with what we're seeing on the short side of there, as more liquidity coming back into the market for Ethereum.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what will happen. Usually when this happens, those are like, there are some downside pressure, but for how long? This is going to be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like 3.9 billion. If you look at the ETF flows, that's roughly maybe 20 days, 25 days.
They'll get eaten up in a month.
Yeah. And obviously there's also entries if you look at it. I think the net here is 600,000 ETH.
Yeah. I'd imagine this is a lot of people that bought at the top last cycle and have been staked for 4 years. We're getting back to probably where they bought, and they're like, "Fuck this, I'm out. I've made some money on the yield in the last 4 years. And they're ready to cash out and get back out of the position at a break even." I'd imagine that's what we're seeing, a bit of that going on right here as we approach previous all-time highs around as we get up into the high fours there last week. But again, I agree. I think I don't know exactly the timing of the market, but this looks about right for me. This is the very famous, what do they call this? This chart here, the cycle chart essentially. But first sentiment extreme into the bear trap. I think we got a long ways to go. I certainly don't think we're on the second half of this by any means yet.
Andrew is thinking about something else.
Andrew's thinking we're in the bull trap here.
No, I'm not. I gotta close some positions. My stops are being hit, boys. I gotta fucking close my shit.
Well, let's close it out then with a happy story. Absolutely love this, seeing this. Brazilian man has been collecting and selling cans to buy Bitcoin for 2 years, and he's now closing in on an entire Bitcoin. Absolute legend out there grinding. I imagine this guy is, not of the upper class socioeconomic ranges, but sees the power of Bitcoin, sees the opportunity to change his life, his family's life, his community life. He's out there absolutely grinding, collecting cans, cashing them in day after day.
Dude, that's
grinding for 2 years.
Really good. That's like $60K a year. Like, what the fuck? Like, dude, that's like a fucking blue collar job or a white collar job. He's making more than people that I know out here. What the fuck?
Bro, grinding, man. So if you're out there and you're saying, I wish I had more money to buy more stuff, there's always a way. Get out there. Even if you got to go collect cans and cash them in, man. Couple bucks a day, $100 a week. It starts adding up. Get out there. Props to this guy. Shout out to this absolute Chad. What a legend. Hope he is well rewarded in 10 years when that Bitcoin is worth $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps this up, he's gonna have like multiple Bitcoins by then.
He's sitting on stacks, baby.
Wow, crazy.
So there you have it. That's a little happy story to end the day. But overall, I think the analysis for today, markets are going to be a little rough in the short term. Probably get some sideways, might get boring. Don't lose your focus. That's when you got to lock in the most, is these boring periods during the bull market. Stay safe. It's not your keys. Don't let Android updates lose you your bags. And find a way. When there's a will, there's a way to get your Bitcoin, baby.
Agree. Please like, share, and we come back on Friday.
See you guys soon.
See y'all.